So in today's video, we're talking about 10 grammar mistakes that you have to stop making right now. I hear these all the time, whether it's in casual conversation, comments online, or even in professional emails, and they can really trip you up. Let's make sure you know what they are, why they happen, and how to fix them. Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. Before we jump in, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down there. Honestly, it would just take a couple of seconds, just 1 second, and it'll help you stay in the loop for more English tips and fun language stuff. You'll definitely find it worthwhile, I promise. First up, let's talk about there, and there. I know it sounds basic, but these three little words cause so much confusion because they all sound exactly the same. There is a short for they are. So if you can swap it for they are in a sentence, you're good. There shows ownership, something that belongs to you. All right? There refers to a place or existence, like over there. A lot of times people just type quickly and end up mixing them up without noticing. But it's worth slowing down to avoid looking careless. Moving on, then versus than. This one's all about sequence versus comparison. Then is usually about time or order. Like I went to the store, then I grabbed some ice cream. Than is about comparing, like pizza is better than pasta. If you remember that than is for comparison or comparing, you'll pretty much nail it every time, okay? The biggest reason people slip up here is that in fast conversation, then and than might sound similar. But trust me, in writing, they're not interchangeable. Next is the classic it's versus its. Here's the deal. It's is a contraction for it is or it has. If you can replace it with it is and it still sounds right, then go with the apostrophe. Its is possessive, meaning something belongs to it, like the dog found its bone. I get why it's confusing because we're used to seeing apostrophe S for ownership, like John's book. But in this case, the apostrophe is for it is or it has, not possession. The fourth one, your versus your. Honestly, I see this mistake in texts and comments all the time. So quick refresher here is that your means you are, as in you're watching my video right now. Your is possessive, like your phone, your cat, or your car. People mix them up because they sound identical, and in texting or casual chatting, nobody really understands or notices it. But if you're aiming for clearer or more polished English, this is an easy fix. Now let's talk about the difference between using me and I in sentences. For example, my friend and I went to the movies versus my mom gave my friend and me a ride. So many of us end up saying something like, me and my friend went to the movies, or my mom gave my friend and I a ride, because we're trying to avoid sounding wrong, but we flip them by accident. A simple trick is to remove the other name in your head. Would you say me went to the movies? Obviously not. You'd say I went to the movies. And if you're receiving something, the object of the sentence, that's me. For instance, my mom gave me a ride, not my mom gave I a ride. What I hear a lot is could've, would've, or should've, in written form, of course. Listen, I get it. When we say could've, could have, would've, or should've, it sounds exactly like of in English, but the correct phrase is always could have, would have, or should have. It's a common slip because we basically say it the way it sounds. Just remember, if you're writing it out, never type could of. That's always a big no in standard grammar. Another big one is double negatives, like I don't want no trouble. Some people do say it this way, of course, in casual speech or certain dialects, but in standard English, two negatives cancel each other out. So, I don't want no trouble literally comes across as I do want trouble in the standard English, of course, which is the opposite of what you intend. If you're aiming for correct grammar, try something like I don't want any trouble or I want no trouble. And let's not forget irregular verbs, especially the one I hear all the time. I seen it. Quick reminder. The simple past of see is saw, right? I saw a movie yesterday. Seen is only used with have in present perfect or had in past perfect, like I have seen that movie, present perfect. English has a bunch of irregular verbs like drink, drank, drunk, go, went, gone, do, did, done, etc. And sometimes we get so comfortable speaking in certain way that we don't even notice we're mixing them up. But if you start to tune in, you'll catch yourself saying something like, I seen that. And then you can correct it right away. I saw that. Or I've seen that. I have seen that. Another major point is subject-verb agreement, like saying he go to school instead of he goes to school. Generally, if you have a singular subject, he, she, it, then you add an S to the verb in the simple present tense. All right, he goes, she runs, it works. If you have a plural subject, we, they, you drop the S. They go, we run. People sometimes slip up if they're speaking quickly and not thinking about it, but it's one of the first grammar errors that really stands out. Finally, watch out for dangling modifiers. That's when you start a sentence describing something, but the subject of that sentence isn't actually the thing doing the action. For example, walking through the park, the flowers looked beautiful. That suggests the flowers are the ones walking through the park. The correct version, however, would be walking through the park, I thought the flowers looked beautiful. Or while I was walking through the park, the flowers looked beautiful. It just makes your sentences clearer and avoids that unintentional silliness. So there you have it, 10 super common grammar mistakes that we all need to stop making. It's easier to fall into these traps, I know, especially if you're in a rush or you're used to seeing them in casual texts or on social media. But trust me, if you can conquer these mistakes, you'll sound way more natural and confident, whether you're texting a friend, writing a professional email, or just chatting in English every day. And if you found this video helpful, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. There's tons more grammar help, pronunciation tips, and fun English challenges on the way. And if you want me to dive deeper into any of these mistakes and give you more examples, or just chat about other tricky grammar points that I haven't made in this video, feel free to let me know. And thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me in this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.